Alright guys, back with another video 2 days before the election, and it's from Pierre, and he came out with a new ad today, and it says, Canadians haven't failed. They have been failed by 10 years of Liberal government driving up cost of food and housing. Conservative will bring change, so hard work buys affordable food, gas, and homes in safe neighborhoods. On Monday, vote Conservative for a change. So let's have a look here. It's a pretty quick ad. We'll have a look and then we'll talk about it after, like usual.
You know who I worry about? The ones who tell me I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. I have no idea how I'm going to pay my way. I met a waitress. She was working 1 full-time job and 2 part-time jobs just to pay her bills. It's a single woman in her late 50s. And she was tired of working all the time. So every creature comfort, everything she enjoyed about her life, she cut it out so that she could drop one of those part-time jobs. And then one morning, she woke up and her car was gone. And she called her insurance and they said they weren't going to cover the replacement value.
Of course not.
She had to take that job back because she simply cannot live her life without a car. Her taxes have gone up, her heating bill has gone up, her wages have not gone up. She's scared to go out in the streets in places where they didn't even lock the door not long ago. Met another guy at the Labrat Brewery. He walked up to me and he said, I have 3 jobs and I can't make it. We've given up on ever owning a home. We're renting. We can barely make it. I feel ashamed when I talk to my kids because they ask me why I'm never around and why we can never have a house. And I feel like a failure. But he didn't fail. He has been failed.
That's right.
He has been robbed of the promise of Canada. It was a very simple promise that if you worked hard, you got a good life. Now, it wasn't fancy or extravagant, but you got a house with a yard and your kids could play safely in the streets. There are real people whose lives are on the line here, and we have a duty to work for them.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, right? That's the prime minister and the government in charge's job is to serve us, and that's their duty to do so. And they don't. And they failed us for 10 years, and now you have more and more people working more and more jobs. And they say, this is one of my favorite arguments from the Liberals, well, the unemployment rate's down. Yeah, no kidding, because the ones who aren't working, it's made up for because you have people working 2, 3 jobs. And they don't pay enough because housing is too expensive, which is a problem that the Liberal government created. And on Monday, you will see millions and millions of people vote Liberal because they think they're going to be the ones to change it, even though they were the ones to break it. It's very interesting. But that's the power of the propaganda machine. That's the power of mainstream media. And this is why we need young men to turn out, because if they don't, we're screwed. Young people in general, really. I mean, if you look at the voting demographics, you know, it's by age, the 18 to 20 to 29 is the highest support base for the Conservatives, or at least, you know, it's really close with the 35 to 45. But if you're under 45, you're voting Conservative most likely. But 55 and over, it's a massive shift for the Liberals. I know a lot of you are also boomers and you're not going to vote to betray this country, but a lot of them are. Now, what's interesting here is when we go and look at some demographics from the 2021 election, this is exactly what I mean. So, the election on September 20th, 2021 had a 62% turnout, 4.4% points lower than the previous election. Now, that is likely because Aaron O'Toole was literally a tool and didn't really bring anything to the table. He was milquetoast. He didn't push back on Trudeau nearly enough, and there was just not as much enthusiasm to vote for him. That's changed this time. You're going to see higher than 62%, that's for sure. Some of it will be Liberals because they're enthused to get, you know, to stop Pierre Poilievre. However, there's a lot of young people who you see at Pierre's rallies who are first-time voters, and if they show up in droves, we got a good chance here. In 2021, turnout gradually increased with age groups from 46.7% for ages 18 to 24 to 74% for ages 65 to 74, and that's what I mean. Look at how often they turn out. 74% for ages 65 to 74, 46%. That's less than half. This has to get to at least 55%, maybe even closer to 60. If it does, that's 10 points, and most of it is going to go for Pierre. So we got a chance here. It just depends on turnout, and we need the young people to show up, young men and women. Although women generally vote more liberal, but there's still a lot of young women who are going to vote conservative because they know they can't buy a house and they know which party caused it. These 18, 19, 20-year-olds are hearing stories from people my age or older about how, hey, when I got out of high school, you could just work a pretty good job and you could pay for rent and a car and it wasn't really that big of a problem. You could find an apartment here in Hamilton for $400 or $500. Good luck finding something for $1,500 now. So it's crazy. We need hope. We need change. Pierre's the guy to do it. But we don't have very much longer. If you know people who are young, they're not going to vote, show them that statistic. You can go to Elections Canada and you can just search in, voting demographics, or just Google voting demographics, and this will come up, and show them the voter turnout highlights and show them how important it is. We need change. We cannot afford liberals, and a lot of these dumb liberals, more and more have been commenting. I don't know if they're bots or they're real people, but either way, they're saying things like, "Oh, you guys are going to be crying on Monday." It's like, listen, you dummies. If the liberals get in again, we're all going to be crying eventually, except my side is going to be looking at your side and saying, hey, look how dumb you are. Look at how much you believed that the liberals are going to fix things, and it's only going to make things worse. So hey, maybe on Monday you get your little parade, you can laugh at us, or maybe you realize that the party that created the problem isn't going to fix the problem, and that the party's platform was written even before Carney became leader, which means the party's in control, not the person. But make that of what you will with it, but that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Please also don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really helps grow the channel. Thanks so much for watching it, and I'll be back shortly with a new video.